How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing amazing. It's good to be here with all of you. As usual, if you're new here, what's up? Like this video, leave a comment, say hello. You can find me on all of my social media platforms, where the links are located in the description of this video, along with my booking website to my reading sale that there's only 3 spots left before the 21st. So if you want one of those spots, I would get it now. So that's going to be going till the 21st. It may be booked up before then. We're almost the 12th. So, So this moon coming into Virgo today, a lot of mercurial action going on. So we got the moon in one of its rulers of being, in Mercury in one of its rulers in Gemini, and now the moon in a Mercury ruled sign of Virgo. So there's a lot of things to catch up on today, and I think with Mars making a nice trine to the moon, we really want to get shit done today and put things into action, put things into order. Really focus on the small things and the little things, especially in our environment. That is very crucial to really put energy into just the small things, not really focusing on the bigger picture. And I think today too, when this moon comes over and squares Jupiter, there can be this overwhelming feeling of like, fuck, like, what about this next week? What about the next month? Oh, I got to do this shit 6 months from now. And it's really easy to fall into these bigger rabbit holes of thought that aren't really necessary in the moment. And that's what Mercury teaches us, right? Is to be very fast, very quick, on your toes, right here, right now. And Jupiter in Gemini, that's the struggle, right? It's not getting so overwhelmed with the bigger picture. So this moon squaring over to Jupiter today, I think this is the first time we've seen the moon in Virgo squared Jupiter in Gemini. So yeah, this is the first time. So yeah, we haven't seen the moon in Pisces yet with the sun in Gemini, I don't think. No, we have. Of course we have. After the full moon. So it's really focusing on the little things, focusing on what's right here, right in front of you, not getting so overwhelmed. I feel like there can be some emotional kind of pull today of thinking we need to move quicker than we actually do. And this moon and Mars making a good aspect is going to remind us. It's like, we don't have to move so quickly. We don't have to think too far out. Focus on what we can control at the moment. The things that are beyond our control, fate will take over, and it always does. And when we get to those points and when we get to those places when it matters, then it all starts to make sense. Some things don't fully make sense yet. So, and Mercury is off of its square with Saturn. We just had coming into the end of last night, coming into this morning. Mars is off of its square to Pluto. There was so much pressure building up, right? I'm a little sick. I've been a little sick just the past 4 or 5 days. I'm starting to feel this pressure, right? So when we were having this Mars-Pluto square build up and this Mercury-Saturn square build up, I started feeling a lot of pressure. I started feeling a lot of pressure of like, damn, like I have so much I got to do and I can't get everything done. I have too much on my plate. I do have a little bit of help right now, which is really great. I have a new intern that came out of nowhere, and it's been very helpful, actually. So that's the other thing, too, is with this Mars and Taurus, don't be so stubborn thinking that you can just do everything yourself and, you're going to be able to knock everything out. I think accepting other people's help, accepting other people's services and kind heart to really help you achieve your goals is very important. in this time too. You know, letting other people in to your world isn't always easy, especially with Pluto retrograde and that Mars square Pluto too, bringing up a lot of fear. You know, it's like, oh, can I trust this person? Can I trust this situation? Like, what and who can I trust? You know, that has come a lot. That has come up a lot, and a lot of fear has come up with this Pluto retrograde and this Mars square Pluto. And we have so much more to look forward to than just, you know, emptiness or darkness, right? This Pluto in Aquarius is kind of empty right now. It's not getting fueled up by anything at this point. Mars started fueling it up a little bit, but in a more intense way, not in a bountiful way. So, you know, we are still feeling very ramped up from this Mars square Pluto. It's just really not getting overwhelmed. You know, with so much mercurial energy and Mercury in Gemini and the Sun and Venus and now the Moon in Virgo, everything has become so mental. You know, we don't have any personal planets in water signs or fire signs right now. So things are very mental, you know. Over the past 2 months, we've been in fire territory. Now it's time to really take our time, focus on the good things, focus on the positive things, focus on expanding our immediate environments and focusing on the things that are right in front of us that we can have control over, you know, because the bigger picture, you know, we've gotten a big glimpse of it once we went through the Sun-Jupiter conjunction, the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. Like, we understand the larger foundation that we've been working so hard to concrete into our reality, you know, and the things that we've been working so hard to manifest and bring into this reality. We got a bigger picture of that through April and May, right? So that energy is setting the tone for the next 6 months, the next year, the next 12 years, right? So this is the moment where, okay, we've got the bigger vision, the bigger future, the bigger idea. Now we have to zoom back in and focus on the details. With this Moon in Virgo, Mercury in Gemini, Sun, Venus, you know, all in mercurial ruled signs, and the Moon being disposited by Mercury. It's just really important to check your mental health, right? With this Mercury square Saturn that's coming on exact today, like, you know, there can be some mental frustration, there can be some mental fatigue, there could be a mental crisis, or somebody you know who's having a mental crisis who needs to, you know, really vent or, you know, let it all dump out. You know, I think this is like, people are feeling right now, I think what we're really feeling is this mental weight with this Mercury square Saturn. And, you know, today, Mercury's going to be off of its square. Of course, Mars off of its square. So, you know, as much pressure and weight that's been applied with these malefic squares, we'll say, you know, Mercury's neutral. It's not benefic or malefic. It's neutral. It's looking at both sides of things, right? Especially in its ruler, in its ruling sign. So I feel like now that we're off of these squares, there can be this greater sense of relief, right? You know, where the zit pops, or finally that creak in your back, you know, when you go see the chiropractor and it, you know, finally gets out that crack in your back, right? Or maybe like a hangnail that's been digging into your skin for so long. I've had many of those, actually, where you finally get it removed and blood can actually flow, right? Because with such intense squares to Saturn and Pluto, especially at the same time, it's like there's a lot of restriction. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure being applied from Pluto and Mars, and a lot of weight and friction and restriction coming from Saturn, especially spiritually and unconsciously. You know, so I think these square points that where this pressure valve has been released has been to this unconscious repression and the subconscious repression. You know, we're talking about Pluto and Saturn in Pisces. Saturn being in a Neptune ruled sign. So it is the subconscious repression of like this release valve starting to open up and really help us mentalize and understand both sides of what these subconscious issues are, what the unconscious issues are, because that's what I always associate Pluto and Neptune with, is Pluto with the unconscious or the collective unconscious, and Neptune with the subconscious. You know, your dream states. You know, your unconscious being your psychological makeup of, you know, your entire existence and pre-existence. Prenatally. So that's where a lot of this pressure is being released, is in these subconscious, unconscious areas. So we can get some more clarity here. And that's what this moon in Virgo and Mercury in Gemini is trying to give us more clarity. It wants us to help us see through the fog and see through the confusion. You know, we're stepping into, you know, Gemini season has been pretty great, but we knew coming in, it's okay. All these personal planets, Venus and Mercury, have to deal with these squares to Saturn and Neptune, and the Sun squaring Saturn, and the Sun squaring Neptune. So there is this confusion. There is a level of confusion that we're still trying to work through here. And once we get through the Venus, Sun, Mercury square Neptune, then we're going to start to understand why these underlying, somewhat confusing subconscious issues are still lingering here. And once we get into Cancer season, things are going to mellow out for a second, but Mars is on its way to Uranus. So that's going to be very exciting and very stimulating. We have the Ace of Swords today. So it is. It's like, you know, sometimes you got to be a little bit more straightforward than usual. And I think that's what's important with this Mercury square Saturn in Pisces, in these mutable signs, is to be as clear and straightforward as possible. You don't want to, you know, paint things out to be the way that you want them. You want to lay them out in a very truthful, factual, honest way. So, and, you know, there can be some reward through honesty, right? You want to feel like whenever you really do the right thing, that you're acknowledged for doing and saying the right things, or even mistakes that you've made, coming clean and being honest about what they are, about your own truth and your own factual experience, right? But sometimes that can be difficult, and sometimes, you know, people don't take it the way that you would hope to, or, you know, people get offended very easy, you know. So I think with the Ace of Swords, it's like not really worrying about the emotional outcome of things, right? And that's the difficulty with these mutable squares with Gemini over to Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, is that is the challenge between being honest and being truthful and being factual, and also being understanding and compassionate about other people's sensitivities or states of mind, or where they're at in their own journey, or in their own experience, you know. But with the Ace of Swords too, it's like, you know, you just got to say it like it is. You got to tell it like it is. And this goes the other way too. You know, whenever you're speaking your truth and you're speaking your factual experience, there's also a lot of BS that's coming along with this Mercury square Saturn and will square Neptune too. So this is a lot of exposure of things that were necessarily not true or unclear or misunderstood, where over these next few weeks, we're going to start to get a lot more clarity here with Mercury and Venus and the Sun after they're squared to Neptune. And especially in our relationships, you know, there's been a lot of developments with new people and new romantic relationships, but things aren't really fully clear yet. So I'd keep really working out the details, especially with this moon in Virgo now, you know, trying to understand things factually, trying to understand things from a non-emotional standpoint. You know, when we're talking about emotions and facts and truth, you know, that's where we're going to be moving into Cancer season very soon. So things are going to get very emotional, especially with Pluto coming back to 0 degrees here over the next month or, yeah, so it's going to be an interesting few months. So anyway, my throat is feeling so funny. I don't know what it's been. There's so many people around me are getting weird little sick. And I don't get sick at all. Even until 2021. Like, it was like I started getting colds here and there. And I'm telling you, from 2011 to 2020, 2021, I never ever got sick. Never got a cold. I wonder why. Anyway, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.